Hello and welcome to our next unit, which is monitoring of power quality. Till now, we have discussed various aspects of power quality. We have discussed the basics of power quality. We have also discussed the harmonics, voltage sags, voltage swells, transients, unbalancing, and various types of problems which are associated with our power system and power electronic components. Now, this unit exclusively deals with two parts. One is about the instrumentation which we need to select for monitoring of power quality. Now, every one of you knows that instrumentation is very important. Without good instrumentation, we cannot have we cannot have a we cannot talk about power quality in that great detail. So better is the instrumentation, the better is the your power quality analysis. So this unit will be dealing about all those aspects. So what are the monitoring objectives? Why we need to monitor the power quality? See, in every specialization, in whether you go in medical science or various branches of engineering, what has been the most important thing in the last 2 decades has been the growth of instrumentation. The better is the growth of instrumentation, the better the monitoring will be. Okay, so it is as simple as that. So if you see solving power quality problem depends on acquiring meaningful data at the optimum locations and within an expedite period of time. So for to monitor something we need to have two things. Okay, first we should acquire the meaningful data. That means the device which we should select should give us the meaningful data at the desired location, or within an stimulus period of time. It is a fixed period of time. Okay, so one of the devices which you know is very common is relay. Okay, so relay is also a monitoring device. It is a device which monitors the fault of the system, and it should do, because you have gone through the various characteristics of relay, that it should be selective in nature, it should be sensitive in nature, it should detect only a fault and should not detect any other type of thing. Similarly, you should choose correct instrumentation for correct thing. For somewhere, if you are in labs also, you must notice these things, that at some places if you are going to use watt meter, then a correct watt meter of that rating with that multiplying factor should be used. If somewhere you are going to use multimeter, then multimeter of particular rating should be used. Similarly, we can say this for oscilloscopes also, harmonic analyzers also, transient analyzers also. So instrumentation has tremendously increased, and that's why, since you have gone through so many papers now, I have given you an assignment. Every paper you see which you have gone through has very beautiful results. Okay, the clarity of the results tell you that the instrumentation used is very good, for example. Okay, so in order to acquire useful and relevant data, instrument most suited for a particular application should be utilized. That means no mismatch of instrumentation should take place. Okay, if you are not having good instrumentation, then you cannot take good readings, good results, and if you cannot take good results or good readings, then you cannot analyze those results. And once you cannot analyze both these results, all the things which you have gone through regarding power quality, its mitigation, elimination, all things are waste, because your instrumentation is poor. So that means instrumentation needs to be very good. Instrumentation needs to be very good. Okay, instrumentation needs to be very good. Most power quality problems that go unrecognized are due to use of instrumentations that are not used for that application. So it can happen knowingly or unknowingly also, that whatever instrumentation you are using, it is not up to the mark, or it has become obsolete. For example, many instruments have gone obsolete. For example, if you see in your common life also, for example, in electrical engineering, at the time, once time the oscilloscopes were not very good, they were not of very high frequency. Okay, earlier people used to have VTVM. Then CRO is now obsolete. Nobody use CRO. Okay, so you might have gone through CRO in a lab. So that is only for educational purposes now. Okay, there is no people now use DSO, a digital storage oscilloscope, or MSO. Okay, multiple storage oscilloscope. And now there are multi channels also. Earlier there were only two channels also. So this has gone through this instrumentation technology. The improvement in instrumentation is immense. So VTVM earlier people used, vacuum tube voltmeters people used at the earlier time. Now it has become obsolete. Nobody uses that. Okay, because advancements in various things have made these things obsolete. Bulky instruments which were very bulky and were there. Now analog instrumentation is mostly replaced by digital one, accurate digital instrumentation. Okay, uh, SCADA have come, PLC have come. So all these things have come up, and the older things have been replaced by them. So why? Because they are now obsolete, and they cannot give the meaningful data at optimum locations within expected environment. So meaningful is okay. Meaningful analog instrumentation also gives meaningful data. Optimum locations is a question mark, whether you are getting data at optimal locations or not. And within a expedite period of time is the most important thing to be looked upon. That is, the time period has become very small. Now we want data at a very fast rate. Okay, so that we can quickly analyze it and can move to a result. So that's why all these things are very important. So the process of knowledge of power system and knowledge of effective equipment, all data deemed to be relevant should be prioritized and analyzed to obtain a solution and problem. Not only this, if you are getting so much very high amount of data, then only relevant data should be collected and should be prioritized and should be taken used for analysis purpose. So that's why we need to monitor the power quality. We need to monitor the power quality. Okay, so what benefits you get if you monitoring? Obvious benefits are there. Okay, so first one is that preventive and predictive maintenance. So as the saying goes, that prevention is better than cure. Okay, so if you can prevent a event which could damage a machine of many lakhs or many crores by using simple instrumentation, or if you are investing in instrumentation, so that means you have to invest in good instrumentation. Okay, why to invest in good instrumentation? Because the cost involved with that primary equipment is very high. For example, if you are having a synchronous generator, okay, if you are having a synchronous generator or some big generators or some medical equipments which are very sensitive equipment, so that rather than to wait that you will get it repaired when they get damaged, the better is to prevent them and their predictive maintenance. So this maintenance is a very crucial word. So maintenance can only happen if you monitor it. If you will not monitor it, then you cannot maintain it. Determining the need of mitigation equipment, that is also important monitoring benefit. Okay, once you will not monitor anything, then how you can decide which equipment is better or which equipment is not better. Okay, ensuring equipment performance. Okay, ensuring equipment performance, that means you can only ensure that an equipment is working satisfactorily or not if you will monitor its performance. And next is sensitivity assessment. This is also a part of equipment performance to disturbances and other things. So all these points are important for monitoring. Okay, then only you can and that's why monitoring is important. Okay, so but there are various issues before you decide monitoring of a system. There are various issues whether you decide a monitoring of a system. How to select a particular equipment, especially we will be talking about only electrical equipments which we commonly use in our laboratories, in our experiments, and that instruments can also be used, are also used in industries also. So the recorded instruments can vary from one other to other. So on any instrument which you are going to purchase, okay, now suppose you are a field engineer or a power quality engineer, or you are working in an industry, or you are a service engineer, all these positions are there. So whenever in an industry or in office, in a lab, you have to purchase something, you have to look for all these things. Okay, what is the sampling rate, if it is applicable to that instrument? What is the accuracy? Always you will talk about first thing about accuracy. What is the precision, resolution? So all these are instrumentation terms. Accuracy, you know. Precision, you know. Resolution, you know. What is the minimum amount of voltage, current, power factor, or anything which is a basic quantity or a derived quantity? What is the minimum range? What is the resolution which that instrument can measure? What is the bandwidth if it is applicable? What is the voltage and current rating? What is the sampling window, number of windows analyzed? What is the filter if you are using? Okay, differential mode argument. What is the probes which you are using? Everything you need to uh, see with before purchasing. Okay, before purchase you need to go through all these things. If you are going to purchase what just by whatever the seller is selling to you, then it may happen that your instrument may not be working in the conditions in which you want. Okay, so all these things are there. Synchronization technique used, especially these things are there for especially for electronic equipments. Okay, these things are used which you will take into account for electronic equipment. Okay, environment of operation is also very important. Okay, in which environment you are going to operate your instrument, whether it instrumentation is of industrial grade, whether you are using it for industrial grade or you are using for its academic purpose, needs to be told also. Instrument immunity to disturbance in supply voltage, so there also comes a power quality parameter. Okay, what is the equipment capability to resist the disturbances or the supply voltage? So all these things are important. Okay, now power quality measurements devices. The first power quality management device is harmonic analyzers. Okay, so harmonic analyzers are used in industries as well as in academics purpose to analyze the harmonics, to record the harmonics, to get a waveform of harmonics. So it usually have a display screen, a voltage leads and current probes. Okay, so some now the instrument these harmonic analyzers are coming with very good feature of having the waveforms in the pen drive also. Okay, so you must have gone through in your Janitza power quality lab the harmonic analyzers which are used. Other instruments are capable of recording snapshots as well as continuous record. So one of the harmonic analyzer which you have in your lab is Janitza. Janitza power quality analyzer, PQ analyzer, which you have performed experiment in your probably third year uh, for harmonics. So that is also a harmonic analyzer. It is just like a handy DSO. Okay, handy DSO which you can use for analysis of harmonics. So it's look like this. See? You must have gone, if you have seen, you can see these types of instruments in your laboratories also. uh, we have this in our power electronics lab. Okay, so if you see that this is very beautiful waveforms come with these types of graphs are also there, in which you can analyze the harmonics, and you can also save this graph. As well as these are can be transferred into your laptop or computer also, with the pen drive slot or SD card slot. So they have now the new versions which are coming, and the company which is very good in making is this Fluke. The company name which makes these analyzers is known as Fluke. Okay, and one thing is also there, is that you see there are different types of red rings which are there. Okay, what are these? These are known as current probes. These are known as current probes. Okay, so it can give you directly the waveform of a current, and these are what? These are these are the channels which you can say, or which you can connect your supply. Okay, so these are supply from where the harmonics you want to measure. So all these things can be done with this harmonic analyzer. Okay, it's very handy device, and it is very useful for industries also. It is very handy, and it is used for industries also. Okay. Suppose you see this is kind of waveform which you get for from a harmonic analyzer. This is the waveform of a voltage, this is the waveform of a current, and you can see that the harmonics in the they are telling it the harmonics they are telling in the voltage, that is the there is a uh, THD of 30.9%. Oh, sorry, in current they are telling that they have a THD of 30.9%, and for 3 ampere current, the 5.13 ampere current is there, and the maximum frequency and all those things are coming up here. So this kind of waveforms you must have seen through in your various different publications in which people go for various types of uh, results which are shown in publications. Now these things is not very needed now. You can directly transfer your there is now in new harmonic analyzers, new things are coming up in which you can directly connect you through the your laptop, or you can also save the waveform in the pen drive or of the SD card. So this feature is also now coming up. So whenever you are going to choose an analyzer, you will first look upon the specifications. What specifications of an analyzer you are getting? For example, you will first see the voltage DC, maximum voltage. But what is this? In this case, it is 1000 volt. Then accuracy you will see. Then maximum resolution you will see. That maximum resolution is 100 microvolt. Then for this kind of this kind of make Fluke 87V, then the maximum minimum the resolution is coming out to be 10 microvolt. Then AC voltage, how much it can take. So maximum AC voltage which it can measure is 1000 volt for a particular specification. Accuracy is plus minus 0.5 plus 2. Okay, AC bandwidth is given, and so many parameters are given. Okay, then current DC maximum, it can measure 10 ampere of maximum DC current. Okay, then this model is having accuracy for DC current as 0.2 plus minus 2. Then the maximum resolution is that it can measure a minimum of 0.01 milliampere of current. So if you are not really going through the specifications and you are just purchasing it, then what will happen is that your equipment may not work satisfactorily. Okay, suppose you want uh, a specification up to 1500 volt maximum. Okay, the AC voltage should be maximum 1500 volt, and you are choosing a analyzer of it 1000 volt, then it will be a problematic thing. Similarly, if you are having a DC current measurement you need of 30 amperes, okay, 30 amperes, and you are using a analyzer of 10 ampere, then also your selection of uh, component is bad, and that's why your analysis will be poor. And when your analysis will be poor, your results you cannot you cannot get a proper result or proper detection of problems which are there in your system. So to choose a equipment is a bit tricky and a very important thing. Okay, then current is also 10 amperes for this make. Then resistance, maximum resistance is 50 mega ohm. Then capacitance is this. Frequency, maximum frequency, very important. Maximum frequency, why frequency is important? Because you are going to measure harmonics, and harmonics are have frequency which is many times the fundamental one. So if you do 200 kilohertz, that means if you up to 200 kilohertz it can give you the readings, or if it can give you the results. So it depends on your applications. Okay, up to which you want. Suppose in some applications you want that uh, the uh, the maximum frequency which should be measured is 300 kilohertz and so on, then you have to choose a different equipment or a different make. Okay, same equipment but of different higher frequency rating. Similarly, the maximum current rating can also go up, then maximum voltage rating can also go up. So it depends. Okay, and depending upon that you need to choose your things. Okay, so this is a example of how you can choose a equipment. So that's why I told you that for this you need to be very very careful for harmonic analyzer. So in order to accurately determine the frequency component, the sampling frequency of the measuring instrument must be greater than twice the frequency of harmonic of interest. This is called as frequency Nyquist criteria. Now Nyquist criteria, because what will happen, your equipment, this harmonic analyzer, will convert analog to digital and then again to digital to analog. So this will be a process in which a ADC, analog to digital converter, and DAC, digital to analog converter, will be involved. So for what will happen, your waveform will be first sampled out. That means you will get samples at different locations. You will get samples at different location. So if you join these samples, you will get a waveform. So the sampling frequency Fs should be carefully chosen. According to the Nyquist criteria, the accurately determine the frequency component of a 60 Hz waveform. Suppose you have to go for 25th up to 25th harmonic calculation. Okay, that means the 25th harmonic will have a frequency component which is 25 times the fundamental frequency, which is 60. Okay, so that will be equal to, 0, 6 5 the 30, and that will be equal to some number. For example, if it is 1400, or 1500, whatever it be a number, that will be a multiplication of both these things. Okay, so that means you want that your Nyquist frequency should be set upon like this. So it will be 25 into 60 will be 1500, and if it is a, that means the maximum frequency which you are going to measure is 1500. Okay, now the Nyquist rate tells you, the concept of Nyquist tells you that the sampling should be twice the fundamental, twice the maximum frequency which you are going to measure. That means the maximum frequency you are going to measure is two times at which the sampling should take place. So that is equal to 3000. Okay, so what does sampling theorem tells you? Sampling theorem tells you that first you decide what is the maximum frequency which you are going to measure. So maximum frequency F max will depend upon the maximum harmonic component which you are going to measure. So for example, in my case it is 25th. The 25th harmonic will correspond to a frequency of 1500 Hertz. So I need to sample my waveform. I need to sample my waveform at a frequency of 3000 Hertz. If I will minimum 3000 Hertz. Okay, so Fs should be greater than twice of Fm. That is the Nyquist criteria. Then only if I will get sample at that speed, then only I can recover that signal. So if you are sampling at a very very high frequency, that means the time period is small. You are getting many samples, and if you are getting many samples, you can reconstruct your waveform. So that's why this Nyquist criteria is very very important. If you are not, so before purchasing, you should check what is the Nyquist criteria, what is the sampling frequency of the harmonic analyzer. Because if you are not going to check the sampling frequency, there is no point in purchasing a harmonic analyzer. Your harmonic analyzer should give you the harmonics, relevant harmonics, till the point you need it. Okay. Another thing is that measurement of voltage harmonic data requires leads that can be attached to a point. So that leads I have already shown you in the previous slides. Okay, if you see, these are the leads. Okay, these are the leads. These are the leads which are there into the system, which is used to get this. These are current pros and these are leads. Okay, so that is being told here, that the manuf so this is a current probe, this is also a current probe. Okay, so measurement of voltage harmonic data requires leads that can be attached to a point at the distortion measurements are needed. Typical voltage leads are 4 to 6 feet long. How much? 4 to 6 feet long. At these length, cable inductance and capacitance are not a concern. So if the suppose you are using your harmonic, this is your harmonic analyzer and this is your load. This is your harmonic analyzer and this is your load. If this is your harmonic analyzer and this is your load, so this is the lead which is connected to a harmonic analyzer to a load. So it may be 6 feet long. At these 6 feet, the cable inductance and the capacitance is not very important. Okay, for as the highest frequency of interest is, if the highest frequency of interest is between 25th to 50th harmonic, therefore no significant attenuation or distortion should be introduced by leads in the distortion data. The idea is that their distortion should not take place in lead, because at high frequency there is always a threat that distortion can take place. Okay, so measuring current harmonic distortion requires some special consideration. So current probes are used for measuring currents. As I already shown you in your previous figure, the current probes are used, which are used for measurement of current. But the current probe can have also problem. Iron core current probes are susceptible to error because of why? Saturation. Okay, so current probes are just like these things. Okay, you have a wire going in through it, and this is a current probe which may be connected to a harmonic analyzer. Okay, prior to installing current probes for harmonic distortion, it is necessary to test that probe is suitable at higher frequencies without loss in accuracy. So current, so there are two types of probes. There are two probes. One is voltage, another is current. So at higher frequency, these current probes are more susceptible to error as compared to the voltage probes. So these red things which you are seeing, red thing are all current probes. These red marks which you are seeing are all current probes, and this is your harmonic analyzer, and this is the panel in which your analysis is going to be done. So you have these current probes is based on the Hall effect sensor, and it is used for getting directly the current data waveform in the analyzer, and it is made up of iron, usually iron. So saturation can become a problem at higher frequency because of the BH curve. Okay, so this is also a this is also a current probe, and this is the wire through which is going inside through it, and the waveform is shown here. So this is also a current probe which you are using not with exactly with a harmonic analyzer, but with a DSO, 4 channel DSO. We are not using harmonic analyzer but a DSO. Okay, so manufacturers provide data for usable frequency range for current probe. The current probe in the figure, in the previous figure, has a 5 hertz are between frequencies of 5 hertz and 10 kilohertz using a current rating of 500 amperes. But we should keep the accuracy. The aim is to keep the loss of accuracy as possible. At some loss of accuracy will always happen at higher frequencies. That is the idea. At higher frequencies, current and distortions normally looked are considerably lower. So we stop here and then we will continue. Thank you.